Okay. Welcome to another edition of Sexy Self-Care. I'm Renee, this is Morgan, and we are Parenthood Prep.
Hi, and today we have with us a psychotherapist and connectfulness coach who has a private practice in New York. And one of the things I love about Rebecca, who we have here, is that one of the things about herself is that every day she embraces life as a beautiful, messy, and serendipitous adventure, which I just think is amazing, and that's how I want to live my life. Welcome, Rebecca. And we just want to start off by asking you, when you hear sexy self-care, what does that mean to you?
Well, sexiness often brings up for me a lot of thoughts about sexuality and how we identify, how we live in our skin, in our body. And so taking care of ourselves, it's just another way of saying kind of to look at the full picture.
Yeah, I love that. And it's kind of, especially too, we work with a lot of parents. So that idea of your sexuality sometimes gets a little thrown out the window, you don't make it a priority.
Yeah, I work with mostly parenting couples. So a lot of the work I do is about sex and sexuality.
Mm-hmm.
So what's the difference? What's the danger in just kind of throwing sexuality out the window and just focusing on kids and the routines and schedules and, kind of get wrapped up in that stuff?
Well, I don't think we could throw any part of ourselves out the window. I think there's always a danger in throwing us out the window. If you throw your need to breathe out the window, you're not going to, be here. We need to drink water. We need to eat. We need to exercise. We need to move. We need to think. We need to be stimulated in a lot of different ways. And our sexuality is just a part of that. So everything we do that embodies ourselves is a piece of our sexuality. Sexuality is how we see ourselves in the world. It's how we feel feminine or masculine or a little bit of both. It's how we approach conversations and interactions. It's how we have relationships with one human to another. And it encompasses so much more than just the act of sex.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's a really, well put way of saying it. And it's totally something that, parents need help focusing on, reminders,
Okay. I want to hear more about that.
Well, because you're so open about it and you make it sound so easy, and sometimes it gets so complicated, and just kids are one thing. And then I just started really reframing my thought process, getting to know you, and then you have these very simple tips of kissing your partner for 6 seconds and looking at them. And just those simple tips, I feel have made a real impact in just me and how I've been seeing myself.
Yeah, I feel very often it's the littlest things that we do that make the biggest impact. So when it comes to parenting couples, so much of what I do with them is having them refocus on little moments, on their connection to one another. And on how they interact with each other and themselves. And, I think especially for parents, one of the driving forces in regards to kind of embracing their own sexuality is that's, what do you want for your kids? What kind of relationship do you want them to have when they grow up? Because how you are in your own skin now is the message that they're taking in. They're sponges. Mm-hmm. So what are they learning, and how are they watching you relate to your partner? How are they watching you relate to yourself? What do you say? And what do they pick up when you look at yourself in the mirror? All of those little pieces, and the way that you interact or you brush against or you totally avoid your partner are the messages and the stuff that they're taking in and forming the framework for how they're going to grow up to have adult relationships.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All those kind of things too that we don't even think about our kids picking up.
They pick up everything. My daughter got her ears pierced about 6 months ago or so, and she just said to me the other day, now I'm fancy like you. Those little things. I mean, and
I love that.
Sexuality. That's it's how she perceives herself in the world now. So, so it's a big deal.
You are
Yeah.
fancy.
Maybe. We're all fancy in our own way.
Right. Well, and I think that like just feeling fancy or like whatever term, like really is helpful, right? Like, so looking within and just that feeling that you produce.
Yeah. You know, and I think that's a big piece of it, is just being able to kind of know yourself, to get comfortable in that space. Because when we like have our own resistance to who we are, then that's what we're projecting outward. That's what everybody else is picking up. But it's bigger than that, because that resistance about kind of who we are, it also has everything to do with what we can take in, right?
What we're open to. Yeah.
What we're open to. And so if we're talking about sexuality, one of the things we're also talking about is pleasure. And so often we forget that we're supposed to feel pleasure, like we're made to feel pleasure. This is how we form connection. It's how we interact with other humans. It's supposed to feel good to interact. It's supposed to feel good. We're supposed to get touched, whether it's by our mother or our father or our sibling or our lover. It doesn't really matter. It's supposed to feel good to be touched. We need, one of my colleagues said, we need 12 hugs a day just to like have normal biorhythms, just to feel good. So like touch, physical touch and satisfaction, these are like important things, and we forget them. We like push them aside so often. And it's big.
Yeah. What is that? Why do we push? Like anxiety is coming up for me.
Well, there's so many different pieces. And so if we look at attachment theory, and I don't want to like get too scientific on things, but if we think about attachment theory for a minute, what it really is it's like our biological drives to connect and attach with somebody else. And when things go well, we develop really secure attachments. And when things don't go so well, there's an array of insecure attachments. And to some extent, those early attachment styles that we develop carry over into our adult relationships. And so we all have some degree of anxiety, and anxiety is actually a good thing. It's not a bad thing. It's what keeps us safe and healthy. It's what helps us develop relationships and see where we need to focus. So anxiety in itself is not a bad thing. And the insecurity is really just talking about that anxiety.
I love that. So what are ways, like simple tips that parents can, form that healthy attachment with their kids, with their partner, feel good about themselves?
I think a lot of this is about looking within and kind of seeing where your struggle is, what's bringing up anxiety for you. Because if you're not noticing that stuff, then you're just going to be passing it on as anxiety. You're not going to be transforming it and doing anything with it.
I love that.
Yeah, that's a really big one. Right. So another tip is to slow down. Slowing down, not taking things too fast, just really taking the time to notice where that abrasiveness is, because when we don't notice it, life just kind of keeps going. It's like a big snowball, and we want to slow down the process. And then the last piece of it is discussing, whether we're discussing it with ourselves internally, with our partner, with our children. These are all things that kind of, they need room for a conversation. When we're not giving the conversation space, then we're just kind of pushing it back under the rug and pretending like it's not there.
And more of that denying yourself
the pleasure. I mean, because the connection happens, in the pleasure, and part of the pleasure is being able to talk about these things with other people. If we're not talking about them and we're not discussing them, we're again missing a connection.
And so what if it's really hard to talk about with your partner?
Well, that's where you look within, and that's where you want to kind of take the time to slow down and to look at, why is this hard? What's going on here? Why doesn't this feel safe? Because so much of the reason that couples have problems is because things don't feel safe for them. Sometimes it's because of a dynamic within the couple, but more often than not, it's something that's carried over before you even met your partner.
Beautiful. So, Rebecca, you work a lot with parenting couples, and I want to hear more about like your offerings.
I've got a lot of things coming up.
I know you do. They're all really exciting.
Yeah. So I do have a free little giveaway. It's called The Little Moments. And it's just a printable sheet that people can put like on their fridge or their bathroom mirror. And it's an awesome just way to remember how to connect to your partner every day. I also am working on a really slow 8-part blog series. There's 2 parts published already, and there's another one to be published real soon. And that series is on reconnecting parent couples, and it has a lot to do with intimacy.
God, how relevant is that? I love that.
I'm also offering a free Q&A webinar with a colleague, Robin D'Angelo, and that we're asking for people just to submit their most burning relationship questions. And as long as the questions are submitted by August 24th, we'll get to them on the call, which is going to be live on August 28th.
Yay!
Yeah, and then I'm also part of the Couples Conflict Virtual Summit, which is coming up this August, and that is going to be just an amazing way to get information, like over 10 hours of free content. For a limited time, it's free, and it's just amazing content from relationship experts from around the world on an array of couples conflict topics. And I'm talking a lot about play and how play is really useful in that. And then lastly, I
didn't know there was more.
There's more. I know, it's crazy. This fall, I'm launching an online program for parenting couples, and it's called Respark, and it's all about kind of getting back that playful spark.
Yes, I did know about that one. I'm really, really excited to start getting some couples there.
Me too.
That's awesome. So it's going to be online, so you don't have to live in New York.
Yeah. Those are all virtual online programs. I left out the New York-based stuff.
Yeah.
That's another layer.
And we will put up all your links and everything. We posted all your links will be posted below so people can learn more about each of these programs and hopefully get involved too. That's really awesome.
Yeah.
Perfect. So Rebecca, in a nutshell, your tips are to slow down, kind of be in the moment, to look within, and then to discuss if that feels safe.
Yeah. And if it doesn't feel safe, that's another discussion. Right? Like when things don't feel safe, that's another slow down, look within, what doesn't feel safe. Let's talk about what doesn't feel safe. Let's work on making it safe. Sometimes we need some flexibility. We need to talk about the rules, but those 3 points they kind of parlay into everything. So if one conversation doesn't feel safe, then slow back down, look within again, and go a little deeper into where things do feel safe.
So it's a beautiful cycle going on there. Awesome. Okay. Well, thank you so much. Anything else? Anything else, Morgan or Rebecca?
I'm just excited to see the rest of your program.
Yeah, I'm excited too. Yeah, thank you.